Last night, you dreamed. Maybe you remember it. Maybe you don't. But somewhere in the darkness of sleep, your brain created an entire world, complete with faces, emotions, stories, fears you can't explain when you wake up. Now here's the question nobody asks. 10,000 years ago, an ancient human lay down beside a fire, closed their eyes, and dreamed. What did they see? Were their dreams filled with predators chasing them through darkness? Were they visited by the faces of people they had lost? Did they dream of flying, of falling, of something so terrifying they woke up screaming into the ancient night? Here is what will shock you. Science has now found the answer, and what ancient humans dreamed about tells us something so profound about the human mind that researchers are calling it one of the most important discoveries in the history of psychology. Stay with me, because what you are about to learn will change how you think about every dream you have ever had. This is human theory, and tonight we enter the ancient dream. Before we enter the ancient dream, we need to understand something fundamental, something that modern science has been studying for decades and still doesn't fully understand. Why do humans dream at all? Of all the biological functions the human body performs, dreaming is perhaps the most mysterious. Every night, your brain does something extraordinary. It shuts down your body, paralyzes your muscles, and then creates an entirely fictional reality so convincing, so emotionally real that your heart races, your eyes move rapidly, your brain activity becomes almost indistinguishable from when you are fully awake. Neuroscientist Matthew Walker of the University of California, Berkeley, spent his entire career studying sleep. His conclusion, after decades of research: dreaming is not a byproduct of sleep. It is one of the primary reasons we sleep at all. Dreams process emotional trauma. They consolidate memories. They simulate dangerous scenarios so the brain can prepare survival responses. And here is the crucial insight for understanding ancient humans. If dreams serve survival purposes, then the content of ancient human dreams would have been shaped by the most powerful survival pressures they faced every single day. Predators, starvation, tribal conflict, loss, darkness, death. Their dreams were not random. They were training simulations for the most dangerous life any human has ever lived. So, what do we actually know about ancient human dreams? The answer comes from three sources: ancient dream records, modern indigenous tribe research, and the most cutting-edge neuroscience of the last decade. Let's start with the records. The oldest dream diary ever discovered was found in ancient Mesopotamia, dating back to 2000 BC. The Assyrian Dream Book, a clay tablet containing over 100 recorded dreams and their interpretations, reveals something fascinating. Ancient people dreamed about almost exactly the same things we dream about today: being chased, falling, flying, losing teeth, being naked in public, meeting the dead, fighting enemies. The specific details changed. The emotional content was identical. But here is where it gets truly extraordinary. Finnish neuroscientist Antti Raivansu developed what he called the threat simulation theory of dreaming. His research showed something remarkable. The primary function of dreaming is to simulate dangerous situations so the brain can rehearse its response to danger. And when he studied the dream content of people living in genuinely dangerous real-world environments, the results were striking. People living in war zones dreamed about threats significantly more often than people living in safety. Trauma victims dreamed about danger repeatedly, rehearsing escape, rehearsing survival, rehearsing responses to threats their waking mind could not process. Now apply this to ancient humans. Every single day of their existence was genuinely dangerous. Predators were real. Starvation was real. Tribal warfare was real. Death was a constant companion. Their threat level was not occasional, it was permanent. Which means ancient human dreams were almost certainly dominated by one thing above all others: survival.
Imagine closing your eyes in the African savanna 200,000 years ago. No walls, no locks, no electric light, just darkness. And somewhere out there in that darkness, lions, leopards, hyenas, creatures that would kill you before you could scream. For ancient humans, going to sleep was itself an act of courage, and their dreaming brain knew this. Research on modern hunter-gatherer tribes, the Hadza of Tanzania, the San people of the Kalahari, reveals that their dreams are significantly more threat-focused than the dreams of modern urbanized people. They dream of animals attacking, of being lost in darkness, of tribal enemies approaching. These are not nightmares in the modern sense. They are the brain doing its job, running survival simulations while the body rests, rehearsing what to do when the lion comes, rehearsing the escape route, rehearsing the response to danger before danger actually arrives. Ancient humans who dreamed more vividly about threats were better prepared for those threats when they were real. They survived more often, and they passed those dreaming brains down to their children and to their children's children, down through 200,000 years of human history. To you. The reason you still dream about being chased, even though you live in complete safety, is because your brain is still running the ancient survival program that kept your ancestors alive in the African darkness. Every nightmare you have ever had is a gift from ancient humans who dreamed so their children could survive. But predators were not the only thing ancient humans dreamed about. There was something else, something more deeply human, something that crosses every culture, every century, every generation of human existence. They dreamed of the dead. In every ancient culture ever studied, dreams of deceased loved ones hold extraordinary significance. The ancient Egyptians believed that dreams were messages from those who had passed. The ancient Greeks believed that the dead visited the living through dreams, bringing warnings, comfort, and knowledge from the other side. Indigenous cultures across every continent share versions of this belief. And modern grief research tells us something profound. Dreaming of lost loved ones is one of the most psychologically healing experiences a human can have. Studies published in the American Journal of Hospice and Palliative Medicine found that over 80% of bereaved people report vivid dreams of the deceased, and the overwhelming majority describe these dreams as comforting, as real, as meaningful. For ancient humans, grief was constant. Life expectancy was short. Disease took children. Hunting took fathers. Childbirth took mothers. Loss was not an occasional tragedy. It was woven into the fabric of daily existence. And every night, the ancient dreaming brain did something extraordinary. They brought them back. In dreams, the dead walked again, spoke again, embraced again. Ancient humans woke from these dreams not with emptiness, but with something that felt like a visit, a message, a continuation of love beyond the boundary of death. This is not superstition. This is the human brain doing what it has always done, processing grief through the only mechanism powerful enough to hold it: the dream. But of all the dreams ancient humans had, there was one category that changed the course of human civilization: the spiritual dream. In virtually every ancient culture ever discovered, dreams were considered the most direct communication between humans and the divine. The ancient Egyptians built temples specifically for dream incubation, sleeping in sacred spaces to receive messages from the gods. Ancient Greek dream temples, called Asclepia, were visited by thousands of people seeking healing dreams from the god Asclepius. The Bible contains over 200 references to dreams as divine communication. Ancient Chinese culture treated certain dreams as prophecy. Indigenous shamans across every continent used dream states to access spiritual knowledge unavailable to the waking mind. This was not primitive superstition. This was the human brain recognizing something real. That in the dream state, the mind accesses information, makes connections, and generates insights that the rational, logical, analytical part simply cannot reach. Modern neuroscience now confirms what ancient humans experienced intuitively. The dreaming brain operates in a fundamentally different mode from the waking brain. The prefrontal cortex, the rational, logical, analytical part, becomes significantly less active. But the associative networks, the parts that make unexpected connections, that generate creative leaps, that process emotional and symbolic information, become extraordinarily active. Ancient shamans weren't receiving messages from gods, they were accessing the full power of the human unconscious mind. And the insights they brought back from those dream states shaped the beliefs, rituals, art, and social structures of entire civilizations. The dreams of ancient humans didn't just comfort them, they literally built the world we live in today.
Here is perhaps the most extraordinary finding in all of dream research, something that connects ancient dreams directly to the greatest mystery in all of human history, the question of when humans first became truly conscious, truly self-aware, truly human. Researchers studying cave art, the spectacular paintings found in caves like Lascaux in France and Altamira in Spain, dating back 40,000 years, have noticed something remarkable. Many of these paintings depict animals and scenes that could not have been observed in normal waking life. Strange, hybrid creatures, half human, half animal, scenes of transformation, figures that seem to float between worlds. Anthropologist David Lewis Williams spent decades studying this art. His conclusion was controversial but compelling. Many of these paintings were not records of waking experience. They were records of dreams, of altered states, of visions experienced in the space between sleeping and waking. The first human art was dream art. The first stories ever told around ancient fires were dream stories. The first gods ever worshipped were dream beings. Dreams didn't just accompany the emergence of human consciousness. They may have been one of its primary causes. The ability to dream vividly, to remember those dreams, to share them with others, to build meaning from them. This may be what separates us from every other creature on Earth. Not our tools, not our language, not even our intelligence, but our dreams. So what does all of this mean for you, right now, tonight, when you close your eyes and your ancient brain begins its nightly work? The first lesson: your dreams are not random noise. They are a sophisticated biological system refined over 2 million years to help you survive, process, and grow. When you dream of being chased, your ancient survival system is running. When you dream of people you have lost, your brain is processing grief in the only way deep enough to hold it. When you have a dream so vivid it feels more real than waking life, you are experiencing what your ancestors called divine communication and what neuroscience calls the full activation of the human unconscious. The second lesson, ancient humans took their dreams seriously. They recorded them, shared them, interpreted them, built entire belief systems around them, because they understood instinctively what modern science now confirms. Dreams are not less real than waking life. They are differently real. The third lesson, the most important dreams are the ones you remember and pay attention to. Ancient humans had a practice of telling their dreams to their tribe every morning, not because they were superstitious, but because they understood that the dream state accesses a part of the human mind that waking life cannot reach, and that part of the mind has things to say. If you start paying attention to your dreams, you may find that your ancient brain has been trying to tell you something for a very long time. 200,000 years ago, an ancient human closed their eyes beside a dying fire. The African savanna stretched dark and dangerous around them, and as their breathing slowed, as their bodies surrendered to sleep, their brain began to dream. Maybe they dreamed of the hunt, of the lion they had escaped, of the child they had lost, of a world beyond this one, where the dead still walked and the gods still spoke. We will never know exactly what they saw in that ancient darkness, but we know this: that dream, however terrifying, however beautiful, however strange, changed something in them, prepared them for the next day, healed something that words could not reach, connected them to something larger than themselves. And when that ancient human woke and told their dream to their tribe, the first story was told, the first meaning was made, the first truly human moment happened. Tonight, when you close your eyes, you will continue that story, 2 million years later, still dreaming, still surviving, still searching for meaning in the darkness. This is human theory. If this changed how you think about your dreams tonight, share it with someone who needs to remember how ancient and extraordinary their mind truly is.